It's our first live show. Here we are.
Yeah. Whoever that one person is watching, we want to salute you. So send, can you put a message here so that we see it, so we know who you are? The Outer Creek, you will get shout outs every show because you are numero uno, big boy.
Bryce Young's pro day. You care how he throws in a pro day? Do you pay attention to the pro days?
I kind of do because I'm fascinated by grown millionaires sitting around. 14 people. We're awfully close right now. 14 people showed up from just the Carolina Panthers to watch C.J. Stroud.
What the hell is the owner even looking at?
The owner said this: "Hey, look, guys, I got nothing to do. I got the private plane. Who you want to bring? Let's go. I swear to God." And so 14 show, and the owner, and I guarantee you all they're doing is going straight from Columbus to Tuscaloosa. Yeah. That's all they're doing.
Right.
I don't blame them. If I'm putting that kind of money in it, I don't blame them. Let me ask you.
Delegate at some point. You got to say this is your pick. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I'll pick up the check at dinner the night before, and then we move on with our day.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do agree with that. And, but it is interesting. So you think, okay, C.J. Stroud's in play, and now Bryce Young's in play. I asked Greg McElroy today. He's a former quarterback at Alabama, played in the NFL. He's a terrific analyst on ESPN. I asked him today, I go, I'm going to give you three guys. If Bryce Young is there for the Colts, he goes, you sprint to the podium. Make the pick before they tackle you. Okay? I said, if C.J. Stroud's there, he said, yeah, you walk fast. I said, Anthony Richardson. He said, are you trying to win now?
Yeah. And
that's the question, is it not? Are you trying to win now? Because if you're trying to win now, I think by all accounts, if you take Richardson, and let's just say you're trying to win now, and I want your thought on this.
Right.
I'm trying to win right now to save my job and all that other happy horse bleat. I got to start Gardner Minshew at least some games, no? If I take Richardson.
You probably, right? Unless the kid's like a savant, and he got better. As the season went on last year, he started out rough. He was throwing picks, and then he was like 12-2 touchdowns to picks over the last 6 games. They went 2-4, but he was better and better and better, and so that means something. But look, you're not going to win a gob next year anyway. Whether it's Minshew, whether it's Richardson, you're not going to win a bunch of. Whether it's
How did this happen? Yeah. A year ago, everybody, a Super Bowl roster. How in the did this happen?
You know what? Here's how it happened. You have built the best bottom of the roster in the NFL. They got the best bottom of the roster. We have got to get a backup defensive tackle. That's our goal in free agency, and a kicker. I don't know who goes into, we've all been in meetings where we got a problem and we need a solution. So we assume that Chris Ballard puts a bunch of big brains in the room, says, okay, boys, 4-12-1 cannot stand. We have got to do better. How do we do that? And somehow the idea they latched onto was backup defensive tackle, an edge who's a 5-sack per year guy, Matt Gay, and then they're going to draft a quarterback at 4, trade up or trade back, and be happy getting the 5th best quarterback in the draft.
All right. I'm going to throw something out at you, and I want your response to this, because when you read it like this is stunning. All right, Chris Ballard effect, 46, 54-1.
Yeah.
2 4-win seasons, no home playoff games, no homegrown prime positions, 5 head coaching hires, including this guy, 7 years, 7 different quarterbacks, no division titles. We've been had here in Indy. Explain to me, if you will, please explain to me how this whole thing is allowed to continue, and how literal, and I'm being literal here, a year ago, man, best team, you got Matt Ryan, and I'm saying, wait a second, he's coming off his worst year.
Yeah.
How is this allowed to continue, and how has it gone from, I read a report today, DeForest Buckner wants out to go play in a contender.
That's a rumor.
All right.
I don't believe
I said
it
a report.
Because they're saying Cleveland. When's Cleveland been a contender?
No. Bernie Kosar.
Here, he stylistically, you know what?
I want to know how this happened.
He should send Ryan Gregson a big box of cookies every draft day because he is so stylistically superior to Ryan Gregson that I think people still look at that comparative and land on Ballard as a superior general manager.
I agree. Stylistically.
Yeah.
Gregson was the angry, win at all costs. I just don't care about Kravitz or Eddie or whoever. And this guy is like, all I care about, because every single press conference he talks about Twitter, and every single press conference I want to puke. When I lose, here's my problem. When I lose,
y'all gonna jump my ass if I don't get this, blah, blah, blah.
You know what he said today? Who are you going to get with the 4th pick? Well, we're going to get the best player in the draft. Okay. All right. Son of a bitch.
Maybe a right guard.
Oh, God, we need one. But two things that happened.
Yeah.
And I got to have your opinion. You haven't answered my question. How did this happen?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to ask you the second question because you just brought it up. How did this offensive line go from we're paying everybody because everybody's a Pro Bowler to complete crap? How did it happen?
I don't know how it happened. I know when it happened.
When?
It happened right at the end of the 2021 season when they were 9-6, and Hard Knocks was either still in town or they had just left. And Ryan Kelly had his deal, terribly sad, tragic, and all of a sudden, what had been a really good room, a good locker room, and a productive team went to hell in a handcart. And I don't know exactly what the first domino was that made that fall, but I know that Carson Wentz was out of here, and that I think that Chris Ballard was right. He said on your show, I didn't want that here. I had no interest in Hard Knocks being here, and I was overruled. And so we know what that means. That means Jimmy did want him here, and it worked for a while, and then blew him.
I think you're absolutely right. And it did go poof.
Yeah. In a hurry. Like
you know who's still here in town? I just saw him at church at Traders Point, Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
I just saw him there the other day, Sunday.
People love Indianapolis. We got a resident. We lost a quarterback. We got a resident.
Yeah, we did.
Nice.
I'd rather have a quarterback who lives in Malibu in the offseason and dates strippers. I want Jimmy G around here. That's who I want around this place. Jimmy freaking G. All right, so I go back to my initial question.
Yeah.
Or not my initial question. This is the question that I have for...
It was a multi-pronged question, and I think I've addressed two of the prongs.
No, you did. But do we trust Ballard to make a draft, not just the 4th pick, but to make a draft into a team that, let's just say, the bar has lowered to a 500 team? Do we trust him enough to do this? He's got his quarterback, Minshew, right? He's going to have to get another one. But do we trust him to develop and do this? Isaiah McKenzie had 40 catches last year, 10 yards a catch. They just signed him. To your point, yay! Jesus!
Yeah,
I love this show.
Jimmy trusts him. And that, do we trust Jimmy to trust the right guy, to trust himself to make the right pick? I
think he trusts his daughter.
Anybody?
Why is his daughter wearing headphones on the sideline?
I don't know.
Why is she sitting in the head coach's meetings?
It was like Coach Rick Greenspan jotting on with his reading glasses, jotting on the legal pads. I didn't know what he was jotting. I don't know what she's jotting. I have no idea what's going on.
So right now, I'm gonna start this conversation by saying you have to get somebody that can go deep and catch the football.
Yes.
So I'm looking at it.
Who that?
Right.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's just say for the sake of argument, you got the quarterback set, whether it's Minshew and Levis or whatever, you're going to have that, okay? What do you need next? A 5-sack guy isn't the answer to that problem.
No.
The 10 catches or 40 catches for 400 yards ain't the answer to the wide receiver problem.
No.
The answer is Lamar Jackson. That's the answer. That's the only answer. I waited, I paused, I got dramatic, That's the only answer that makes this interesting.
Here's where it makes sense.
Uh-oh.
Is that you've got to have, let's say, one of the top 7 quarterbacks in the AFC because 7 teams go to the playoffs.
Yes.
Lamar Jackson is one of those guys.
Yes.
So getting him makes sense. But, and here's where Ballard, I think, outfoxes himself and how I tend to outfox along with Ballard.
Oh boy.
Is that you lose 2 first-round picks. I don't care about one, but I do care about the second one. You lose $45, $48 million against the cap every year. So that's 20% of your cap space dedicated to a guy who over the last 2 years has missed 5 games each.
I know.
So if you screw that up, if you screw up the 4th overall pick, you can live to fight another day.
No.
If you screw up Lamar Jackson, you are dead.
No.
For I mean, as
oh,
a franchise,
the team as a franchise. Yes.
5 years,
yes.
you're toast.
Yes. So you can't live that way. Why
Right.
am I yelling in my house? You can't live that way. You can't live where if we screw this. I know. I'm going to try. I'm going to go like I used to do on the bench and talk to people like this. You can't live that way.
No, you can't.
You cannot, Kent. You can't live that way where if we screw this up. See, I think Lamar Jackson, if I'm Ballard, let's just say we're Ballard and we are trying to survive.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson gives you cover. Lamar Jackson, if he gets hurt, hey, that ain't on me. I brought you one of the top 10.
But it was predictable.
I know. But I at least took a big swing. What's the last? I guess DeForest Buckner for the 13th pick was a big swing, right?
Kind of. It was a bad draft.
Yeah.
So it was a good move.
Yeah.
Like, who you got to take at 13 that year? I thought it was a good move. Signing him to the money they did, I thought that was okay.
Yeah,
I'm with that.
I got no problem with it. I don't have but when you think of the Colts, you think of now, who's worse? Like, who think about this. All right, you got a rookie quarterback, or you got a rookie owner. Okay, all right, coach, fine. Gardner Minshew is your quarterback right now.
Yeah.
You don't have any weapons. Jonathan Taylor's hurt. Shaq Leonard, you don't know if he's going to play. Who's in worse shape right now than the Colts?
Let me frame it in this way. If Aaron Rodgers goes to the AFC East, all right, so you've got the Jets, the Bills, the Patriots, the Dolphins. Which of those teams would not be the favorite in the AFC South?
Oh.
You got 4 teams, any of whom, if you move them to another division, the worst team in the AFC East would be the best team in the AFC South.
Well, let me ask.
And the Colts might be the worst team in the AFC South.
They might be. Let me ask you this. Let's go with Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Cleveland, and Baltimore.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bad division.
Yeah.
It's a bad team. Poorly run. How in the hell did we should not have allowed it. You know what happened? It all started when I left local radio. So now that we're back, I think we're in good shape now.
You know what? We are just not very bright.
I'm not.
We find reasons to hope every year. We are a nice guy city, which I applaud, because we lived in a not nice guy city, and that's Chicago.
Yes.
Although they always buy what the Bears are selling, and I don't understand it in Chicago. We do that here. We always find a way to open training camp thinking, you know what?
Yeah.
If this happens, that happens, and this happens, and that. Holy cow. I had a guy on a comment on my YouTube channel who was talking about Ogletree. He's a high upside guy.
For 10 years.
Yeah. I was like, how do you respond to that?
You don't.
No.
I do, but you don't. You're smart. I'm done.
What Ballard tends to do, I think, which is such a mistake, is try to aggregate pieces and hoping that the sum of those pieces yield a positive result. You need elite level players, individuals.
Period.
You can't.
Period. Hey, look, the development here is not great.
No.
Let me ask you guys on the YouTube chat a question, because we got some people here, and we thank you for being here. But let me ask you a question. Name me a current Colt that's gotten better. Like, you can't say Quentin Nelson. You can't say Ryan Kelly. You can't say Braden Smith. I'll give you maybe Michael Pittman, maybe, because he's gotten more opportunity. I'll say Jonathan Taylor came in pretty damn good.
Yeah.
You tell me that Mo Alley Cox or one of these tight ends has? Gregson?
Ryman. Ryman got better throughout the year last year, but Strasser's gone. And nobody was really happy with Strasser. They thought he was part of the problem rather than part of a potential solution. So he's out.
Okay. All right. No, people are agreeing with you.
The safeties, I like Mike Mitchell as a safeties coach type guy. But have the safeties gotten better? Did Cross get better? Has Blackman gotten better?
I'm going to go to Cross for a second.
Yeah.
All I read about was Nick Cross. What a great pick.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, okay.
We couldn't believe he was still on the board.
Unbelievable. How many of those guys do we have? I swear to God, all of a sudden halfway through the...
That's all we got with the Pacers, too. Can't believe Goga Patanza was still on the board. I was sitting next to Kevin Pritchard when he said it. And then they brought out the international scout, and somebody said, so, do you think Patanza is still going to be on the board at 18 or whatever it was? And the guy goes, yeah, he was drafted right about where we thought.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, why don't you two guys go back there and get your heads
Figure
together?
it out.
Yeah, God almighty. So
Grover Stewart did get better out of Creek.
Yep, that's a good
Grover
point.
Stewart, I'll give him that. I do.
For sure.
But I'll go back to Cross. I'm going to go back to Cross because all I heard was Nick Cross. Nick Cross is, okay, and then I forgot about him because, you're watching games and you forget. And then all of a sudden, I don't know if he made a tackle on special teams like in week 15. I'm like, oh, yeah. Seriously, that's the impact that guy did not have on the football team of the Colts after we being told the same thing over and over and frickin' over again.
And we get that with Kwity Paye, who's a first rounder. He doesn't get to the quarterback a lot. And they keep getting guys, he is really good both defending the run and defending the pass, which means he's not elite at anything.
Which means he blows.
They keep getting those. Taekwon Lewis, another guy, who, he does both well. We need guys with a variety of talents.
No, we don't.
Which means...
No, we don't.
We got guys who can't play dead.
Right. We need, what we need? We need a specialist. We talked about this last week. Give me Richard Dent. Yeah. I knew Richard Dent was going to get however many sacks, and if he didn't get there, everybody had a game plan for Richard Dent.
Yeah.
I go back to this Jalen Carter kid. If you want a guy, okay, he's dropped, he's fat, he couldn't make it through the I don't care about him. I don't care. All I know is this. Urban Meyer told me this year before the Michigan game, he goes, look, here's the deal. He's the best defensive player in the country. You got to put 4 hands on him. He's ridiculous. You got a game plan for him specifically. You don't have to. Who is a guy on the Colts, almost both sides, other than maybe Jonathan Taylor, that you've got to specifically game plan for? Dio, the human hurricane? Can we swear on this show?
Yeah, we can swear.
I don't want to get
They allow it. Hey, there's something you don't see on Geist every day.
Yeah.
It's a barge with a backhoe.
Yeah, they're dredging Geist right here.
Are they? Well,
yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, it's too shallow. We got to get some depth on this.
It's you and the boats.
I'm trying to figure out how to put this on Twitter so that people know to come here. What is our page here? How did you guys find this?
That's a good question, and to this point, 58 have, which is a good thing.
Yeah, we'll triple that.
Hey, know what? How about this? One of you guys take the URL and plop it into Twitter and at Dan, and Dan will retweet it.
Yeah, do that because we're doing a show here. We don't have time for this crap.
No, my God, social media.
I do want to say this: Rob Senderoff allegedly apologized to Mike Woodson,
which is hilarious.
Which is so hilarious. Woodson, let me start with him.
Did Woodson just kind of look at him like, what?
Hey, what are you doing? Who went on probation? You went on probation? I didn't know they went on probation. Woodson doesn't. Hey, you got to understand, man. man. Woody wasn't around Indiana basketball. He doesn't know any former player. He knows less about Indiana basketball.
He called Dane Fife Darren for the first 4 months he was on the staff. Darren.
I had a good run in the tournament, he said to him one time. Yeah, we made the championship game, Woody. Your ass lost to Purdue. I think that's what Dane said. And no wonder that he is out. But anyway, send her off. First, Woody had no idea, I'm sure. And send her off. Good for him.
I guess he's still got some measure of guilt. No. He's got a conscience.
He does not.
All right.
I refuse. Brian Haas, thank you for that. Greg Miller says, what's a URL?
Good for you.
Yeah.
So this came to me via a direct message earlier on Twitter today. The Hoosier Hysterics, one of those fellas, asked if he could come on, not demanding, but requested. He said, I would request that you have one of us on to allow us to defend ourselves.
Against what?
I think you said something disparaging, or at least they took it as disparaging. And I replied, hey, it's good to meet you. However, we don't do guests. I'd love to have you on, but we don't do guests. We're enough.
1,000 appearance. They want to give us 1,000, we'll let you on.
Oh.
I mean, they're money-making guys.
Like the NIL.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. 1,000 in appearance. Come on.
We're happy. Yeah.
Look, you guys.
We'll come down. We can go to the Bluebird and talk.
Yeah.
For $1,000 each.
I'll sit right here and talk. Oh, if I'm going to the Bluebird, they're paying us $5 each.
Oh.
Yeah.
I need an agent.
You got one. Stay close. Sean Black is here. All right, but to the point, I've said this before and I'll say this again. Those guys, I mean, I know you got to raise NIL money, but the stupidity, the sheer stupidity of Trace Jackson Davis or Cody Zeller, and I said it last week with the pictures like they're Jesus Christ in front of an adoring thong coming in 8th place, 9th place in the Big Ten, is screwing Indiana basketball. Some guy said, well, give me your outlook on how to fix it. It would be too expensive for you. And Twitter's not the place. I'm not giving that crap away.
No.
If Dolson were smart, he would ask. He would have to come down here because I'm not going there. The traffic is still terrible. I don't care what anybody says. But anyway, so Indiana's in the portal. They're trying to get a kid from Harvard. And away we go.
And another one from, where is it? Towson.
Yeah.
Got a 3-point shooter from Towson they're looking at.
Yeah, and the problem...
The Harvard guy, do you know this guy?
No.
You have no idea?
I'm going tomorrow, though.
Are you?
Yeah, I'll look him up. I will. I'll say hello. I'll try to recruit for Indiana. I'll be like the Hoosier Hysteric guy and go, I'm smoking cigars because I'm a dipshit and I, blah, 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 blah. Do your own show. Ken does have a good head of hair. All right, I got to get into something else.
$25 haircut yesterday.
Jalen Rose says you should go 1,000 or 100. 100 a haircut or you're getting it cheated.
100?
Yeah. Let me ask you about Purdue. Let me go real quick to Matt Painter and Zach Edey. Did you know Zach Edey has 2 years left? Now, people may not know this. Zach Edey can't make the money.
COVID?
Yeah. He can't make the money that others can. He can't make the same amount of money because he's on a visa here. So people that say, well, if you're Edey, you got to stay because of the NIL money, he can't. There's a rule that he has certain restrictions that others don't. Like Trace Jackson Davis, Woody just goes to the clowns with the Hoosier and said, hey, give him another 100,000. That's what I heard, literally. Yeah. I've literally heard that. He doesn't even know Hood Shafino's real name. They've had to correct him on how to say his name. This is our guy. This is our coach. Call him.
He's not there for, it's like us. We're not here for grammar. We don't care about
I know your name.
Apostrophes.
Oh, I don't care about that. But I used to go to one of my players. What the hell's your name? And he'd go, Metella. Metella, you suck. Because you get excited during the time of my break. Right. But I know him often. Anyway, Purdue. What does Purdue, people have been asking me this, and I don't know. They got to get more athletic, I guess. I don't know. I really don't.
They just won the Big Ten by 3 games.
That's what I'm saying. I'm having a hard time.
What are we upset? Why are Purdue fans upset with Matt Painter? I don't get it.
Jesus.
You know how, well, you know as well as anybody how hard it is to win in March. It's tough. You get everybody's best shot. Nobody ever gives up. Nobody lays down and says, oh, Purdue's got us by 15 with 90 seconds left. They're still battling, trying to hit threes, fouling guys. It's competitive as hell. You're not always going to win. Virginia got beat in the first round by a 16 seed, and they won the tournament the next year. It wasn't Tony Bennett. It's not Matt Painter. It's all okay.
Honest to God, again, you and I are ridiculous because we, ladies and gentlemen, still think that the Big Ten title matters. Still think that, did you ever see how excited everybody gets when you win a Big Ten title? They're cutting down nets. They're on the court. See how excited everybody got when they won the Big Ten tournament? Yeah. And then if you lose a game, all of a sudden it's like, well, you guys suck. Like, wait a second. A week ago, we're celebrating literally everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
And if Purdue had won that game, and then against Princeton, and then won the subsequent game, and they lose tonight, people are still riding Painter's ass. Yeah, everybody loses the last game but one.
Yeah.
And then everybody gets angry at all 67 other teams.
I believe this. I believe the women's loss at home was a bigger disappointment than the men's loss in Indiana.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
It was very sad. I hated that. You know what I really like about watching them play? They are not stoic.
Right.
Like you can see on Grace Berger's face, and just as he used to be able to with Allie Patburn, you could see what was going on in the game in that moment. She was either furious or sad or happy. Mackenzie Holmes, you see joy. I think it's cool to watch him play. And I'm really disappointed we don't get to watch him anymore. They should have beaten Miami, and they couldn't make a layup at the end, and so you go home.
You know what? I am always about me.
Sure.
Yeah. And me.
Somebody's got it.
Me equals appointment TV. And the Miami series that we played this past weekend, men's and women's, was appointment freaking TV to me. Yeah. Like, I could not wait to sit there and go, hey, I'm going to watch the women's game. And when, the little, the Instagram model girl, Cavender, I think, she shushed the crowd. Yeah. And then Indiana hit a three after. That was tremendous. That was so freaking. But now I don't get to watch that. And now I got to say they're disappointments. See, and I will say this difference in Purdue and Indiana. If Indiana would have gone to the Sweet 16, I think all the little crazy people would have said, oh, what a great year. Oh, we had a great year. We got to the Sweet 16.
You think?
I do. Indiana men's basketball.
Oh, okay.
Men's.
Yeah.
Men's.
For sure.
Women's.
Step forward.
Yes. Yeah. But women's was totally different. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
Thank you,
when you're a one seed, you hope that they're going to go to the Final Four. Or at least go to the Sweet 16. And they got everybody back but Grace. They're going to be really good next year.
They are. Here's the one thing.
I got to tell you, when we went to Indiana, I couldn't tell you now, nor could I have told you then, who any of the women's basketball players were. I remember Mary Alice Jeremiah was the coach, just because it's kind of a cool name. But I couldn't tell you a player.
Karna Abram was hot. And Karna Abram was always, when the IDS did a story, always Karna Abram on the. She was a really good player too. Like, she was kind of an all Big Ten player.
Yeah.
Do you know the last time? This is true. The last time Indiana won a women's championship was, I believe it was 82 or 83 before this
83.
run. Okay. Denise Jackson was the most valuable player. She played pregnant with running back Johnny Salter's kid.
Really?
Yes. Johnny was a great dude. Denise was a great lady. Both were, like, he's a running back that was pretty good. I want their kid to recruit. Like, holy hell. I remember telling her, like, 100 years ago, hold on. If I'm coaching and that kid's a boy and he's playing hoops, let's go. But that's the last time. 83,
yeah,
right?
83,
yeah, I couldn't remember. It was my freshman or
right.
sophomore year, yeah.
So Notre Dame gets Micah Shrewsberry, an Indianapolis guy, went to Cathedral. That doesn't really matter. But why, like with Shrewsberry, that Penn State program got relevant. They got tough. They were really, really good. Penn State's got all the money on the planet, and they allow Notre Dame to snipe their basketball coach. I don't get it.
Well, you say allow.
You say we'll give you $10 million.
Yeah, no, you're right. There is a certain level of that. I think it goes back to Penn State is like Michigan and to a lesser degree, actually, Michigan and Ohio State in that, yeah, they got a great basketball program. Penn State does not have a great basketball program. He did a very good job, certainly late in the year, of making them relevant, making them interesting, and bringing a not only hope, but a substance to it. I always felt like with Pat Chambers there, they were always in disarray. There was always some stuff going on, right?
Yeah.
I agree with what you're saying, but I'm telling you, my son at Illinois State, after playing at Michigan on good teams and playing at Ohio State, said, Dad, it's so great to be in a basketball city. Yeah. He'll go to the restaurant and people are like, hey, Coach, how you doing? Michigan, Penn State, Ohio State. I think when Andrew was there, they went 15-3 with Keita Bates-Diop and Jayshawn Tate.
Right.
I think they had 2 sellouts. See, we're so spoiled here with that. Like, Indiana's going to sell out every minute. Purdue sold out for the last 10 years or whatever it is. We're really spoiled with that here. We think everybody has the interest. Penn State's horrible with it.
But Notre Dame's not great at it.
Not great. No, but wouldn't you agree there's a lure to Notre Dame? There's like a...
Well, for Shrewsberry especially. Being a cathedral kid, you got the Brothers of the Holy Cross used to be the faculty there. They were from Notre Dame. Brothers of the Holy Cross were at both. I don't know whether Shrewsberry is even aware of that. But, did you know that a cathedral, they had the leprechaun logo that's exactly like Notre Dame's. Cathedral had it first, and Notre Dame stole it.
I know it. And Notre Dame sued them, didn't they? Or some kind of issue.
Well, they tried. And then there were lawyers, and I don't know what exactly happened, because Cathedral's got good lawyers too.
I think that Shrewsberry will do a really good job. I think it is a terrific hire. I think the Big Ten has to look at itself a little bit and say, okay, who are our coaches?
Yeah.
Like, who's a dynamic recruiter? Like, if you look at it, like, I had a conversation today with Brad Underwood, and I love Brad Underwood. But is he a dynamic recruiter? Woody's probably as good as any recruiter. I think people in Michigan have been really disappointed in Juwan Howard's recruiting. Whenever you have your sons there, it's pain. But if you look at, Fran McCaffrey, is he a dynamic recruiter? When Urban came into football, everybody had to jump it up. Michigan had to say, wait a second, man, we can't just take the thick ankle guy, third team all league, and make him big and fat in alignment. We have to get some athletes around here.
And McCaffrey did a really good job of recruiting the Murray family.
Without
the Murray family, good Lord, are they slow.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
No, and so, it'll be interesting to see who ends up wanting to go or ends up getting the job at Penn State. But I got to tell you, if I were Penn State, to your point, I'm throwing some money. I'm swinging for the fences. And I don't even know what that means. My first thought was go get Mick Cronin from UCLA. Now, you're not going to be able to do that. But somebody like that. You can't bring in, well, he's a Philly guy.
Yeah.
Oh, screw that. But I think Shrewsbury is going to do a really good job. Jack Swarbrick and Syracuse are the only two, I think, in college sports right now that have an African-American football, basketball, and women's basketball coach. I could be wrong, but I think I read that today.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think. So there you go. All right, let me go to something else. Yeah. When you look at the landscape of the NBA, I watched the Pacers last night, and I'm like, damn, how do they go about screwing so many games up?
Yeah.
Without
Halliburton.
Without hardly anybody.
Yeah.
Are the Pacers, if we did this show and we did more than 10 minutes on the Pacers, would our numbers drop off the chart, or are the Pacers interesting enough to sustain and keep building where they're at right now?
We've got 77 right now. We'll see where we're at when we stop talking. No, they're not going to go to the playoffs. They play, I think, a kind of a visually arresting style of basketball. It's fun to watch. They shot really well last night, and Toronto shot like they were blind last night. That helps. If you got a team shooting 20% from threes while you shoot over 50, you got a pretty good chance to win the game. Halliburton's terrific, but you need that guy. And here's a problem with the Pacers, is that their games are not available to everyone. So they're not a mass popularity team because people can't watch it. If you're doing like the streaming thing, if you've cut the cord, you're paying $20 a month to watch Pacers basketball in Valley. That is unsustainable. That's crazy.
I agree.
I get why Sinclair's going, or not Sinclair, but the Bally Sports thing is going under.
So everybody says it's going under.
Yeah.
But I watch it.
Yeah.
So what's that about?
For protection in bankruptcy court. So they're going to have to figure out a way to pay their debts, and it's not going to be pretty. They'll continue to operate, but they're filing for protection. So.
All right, here's the most important part of this show.
Yeah.
The gambling portion.
Sure.
So last night, I got to tell you this. There's something called Templeton Rye. I don't know if it's any good. I don't even know what rye whiskey is. Last time I engaged in rye whiskey, my buddy Big Balls Billy Mueller's father was up with us in the upstairs of Nick's, that room up the ramp, and a bunch of young ladies started hovering around our table. Don't know why, maybe because I was there. But my man ordered a rock and rye, and then after about 10 of them, and there were some ladies that were at our table, he started signing ladies' bras. Yeah, he did. Mr. Mueller upstairs. And I texted my buddies last night, Big Balls Billy, who you've met, Pilar, and all these clowns. I'm like, last time I had rye, Mr. Mueller was signing titties. Anyway, sorry. Anyway, but it led me to make a bet. And this is a DoorDash bet. And I need your opinion on this. So I made a bet, too much money. I bet a parlay of two teams, money line, which means just to win. And I took Tennessee over Florida Gulf Coast. And I took UConn over Arkansas for way too much money. If we win now, my toes are tapping. If we lose, I'm actually doing this. After this show, I got to go downtown Indy, and I'm going to DoorDash my way down and back so that I at least cut the bill by a little. I'll get $100 today DoorDashing, so it's only a $900 bet in my. Oh, I bet $1,000. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was stupid.
Oh, gracious.
Rye.
Well,
I blame Rye.
Tennessee's going to win.
I think so. That's what I tried to do.
I know Todd Abernathy's on the staff, and Dusty May, and we love Florida Atlantic. But Tennessee is really, really good. They shut the door on it.
It's not a terrible
bet.
Really
good. No, it's a good bet.
Now, I don't know if it's good, because then I talked to Underwood today, and he was telling me how good Arkansas is. I'm like, crap. Oh.
When do they ever win anything? Who in their right mind would sign on to go to Fayetteville, Arkansas, and spend 4 years there?
That's crazy. Somebody that is getting massive Walmart money.
Yeah,
that's it.
There's that.
That is. I lost a kid, J.J. Sullinger. J.J. Sullinger was going to come to Bowling Green.
How many Sullingers
There's
are
a
there?
million of them. He's the oldest one.
Okay.
Left-handed shooter. I thought I was getting them. The dad, Satch, unbelievable. He'll tell you to this day, best in-home visit he ever heard was me. The family went out to Arkansas, sat on the back porch and drank iced tea on Nolan Richardson's farm. He calls me. He goes, Dan, you were great, but we're going to Arkansas. And he ended up in Ohio State. But hey, who do you like? What do you like this weekend?
I like Tennessee. If I was going to bet, and I'm sure you can, as you can bet a national champion out of that Sweet 16, I think you're going to get good odds on Tennessee. And I think Tennessee's got a really good chance because it's something you brought up on Monday, and that's that their defensive efficiency is tops in college basketball, and they defend like studs. They care. And Rick Barnes is due.
Rick Barnes is overdue. All right, NCAA Tournament winner, plus 340. The favorite is Alabama. Second favorite is Houston. Then it goes from plus 360 Houston to plus 800 UCLA, plus 900 UConn. To reach the regional winner, Tennessee is to win their region. They're the favorite, plus 130. Izzo's plus 300, plus 350 is Kansas State, and plus 450 is Florida Atlantic. What that means is if you bet $100 on Tennessee, you win your 100 back plus 130. If you bet Izzo, you win your 100 back plus 300. That's what that means. So there's your favorites there.
In the region.
In the region.
What's Tennessee to win the tournament?
Oh, I just thought I had that. Hang on. Tennessee to win the tournament.
We didn't get down that low.
Yeah. Plus 1,000. Bet 100, get 1,000 back.
That's stealing.
It is not stealing. They lost their point guard, Ziegler. They're not stealing.
You'll lose tonight. I'll make a $100 bet. I'll give you the grand. I'll keep the 100, and then we're all even and happy. And then we'll drink rye, and we'll see who shows up to get their brassieres signed.
I do have to say this. Kent Sterling, I asked him to make a bet for me a couple years ago on September 1st. I took the Washington Nationals.
And I should have done it.
You
it was
did?
like 35. No, for me.
Oh, yeah.
I was saying, I told you then.
Yeah, I made $1,500.
If they get to the playoffs, they're going to win the thing because they had Scherzer.
Yeah.
They had Strasburg.
They had one other guy.
Yeah, they had 3 really good starters, and I didn't understand why the odds were that big. But you know what I would have done from that point forward? I would have crapped my pants every single day, and through those playoffs and through the World Series, I'd have taken 10 years off my life to make $3,500.
I don't think I made $3,500 on the $100 bet.
30.
Did I make that much?
Maybe.
I don't know, but I got to tell you.
Yeah, we were out in that play, Indiana Grand.
All right, so do you like anything else? Gonzaga, UCLA tonight.
I picked UCLA to win the whole thing when it started, and I think they're the best team in college basketball.
I want you to watch this as you're watching tonight. 2 things to watch. Michigan State against Kansas State. There's a little kid. He's little, and somehow everybody's insulted when you say a little guy or something like that. Shut up. He's little. He's 5'9". His name is Noel. He's the smallest guy in the tournament. Here's what college basketball has become. 5-man, all switching on defense.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're big, doesn't matter if you're little, you're switching. You can't do that with him. This is a bad matchup for Kansas State because of that. Izzo's teams, they hedge, which means the guy guarding the screener gets out really far, giving room for the guy guarding the ball handler to either go over or he can go under the screen, and the big guy's always spread out. This is a bad matchup. If you just switched everything, then this Noel kid would get a matchup with a 5-man, Sissoko, or that freshman kid, and he would whoop them and cause problems. This is a bad matchup. Take Michigan State tonight if they can continue shooting the ball. The UCLA-Gonzaga game, watch the lane. Promise you, watch the lane defensively. Here's why. When you play, both of these coaches, Few and Cronin's more of a defensive coach than Few, but Few does a great job of help side defense. He gets his guys towards the ball. And in this game, you play from the lane out. What does that mean? That means when the ball's opposite me, I get in the lane. If there's a drive, whatever, I'm here to help on a post, but my brain is telling me I got to be back to the shooter. So while physically I'm here, my brain has to go out there. Both teams do this really well. And I think I talked about this last week, and I hate to be redundant, but if you can take away the lane, which both teams do, and get to the shooter when the ball is skipped or thrown, then you're playing defense. And the way you do it, physically I'm here and help side, but mentally, I know as soon as that ball's in the air, I'm flying. You can't do it once the guy catches it and then get out there. That ball's in the air, I'm moving to recover. If you recover late, shot, or they drive what's called a long recovery, and now both teams are tremendous at driving out of a long recovery. Watch the lane. I swear, watch the lane tonight in that game. Try not to watch the ball. Just watch where help side guys are. It's pretty fascinating to watch. Yeah. They're both, like, Few isn't known as a defensive coach. He's more offense than they are. But in help side, taking away lane, he's pretty good.
How do you close correctly?
Short, low. Yeah, short, choppy, low ass, high hands. Short and choppy. Now, the NBA is different. Now the NBA will tell you fly by a shooter. Just jump and fly by.
Really?
It's ridiculous.
So Indiana, those kids are just preparing to play in the NBA.
That's what they do.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, it used to be you're short and choppy, rear end down, head up, high hands, take away the shot, but your rear end's down so that you can move your feet. You don't lift up because you can get your ass whooped. But the NBA way, the screen is the shooter because they want to run you off the three. They practice running by only to like here, and then you try to get back into the play. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, but I call it the Duncan Robinson rule. They call it the Duncan Robinson rule. Run his ass off the three-point line, make a guy that's strictly a shooter into a playmaker.
And you have to do, because that's Duncan Robinson's game.
Yeah, you don't do that in every guy.
Right.
Like you do that, I don't even know the NBA well enough to know but every team's got a shooter. JJ Redick, you would do that too.
Hield?
Yeah, Buddy Hield, you do that too. Yeah, no question about it. Now, hey, look, we get it. McAfee's got 36,000. We'll be there in a couple weeks. Don't worry about it. We just do
fun stuff.
We do us.
People want to come, they can come. Yeah, when you have a party, you don't judge whether the party was a success by whether you had 3,500. Who wants 3,500 people at a party?
It's too much pressure.
Way too much pressure. Way too many people. I don't know that guy. Who's that guy? This guy looks familiar. I don't like parties like that. This is much more intimate.
Can I throw you another Big Balls Billy story?
Yeah, please.
So Big Balls Billy, Uwe, myself, and Roger, we had a party after we lost in the NIT. And there's 1 million people there, and this really hot girl, smoking hot, says, Dan, you want to go get cigarettes with me? I never smoked in my life, but I was going. We're walking up, and she's got a Porsche Carrera. Is that what it's called? Yeah. I'm like, please, God, please, God, please, God, let this be your car. Let this be your car. Let this be your car. It was her car. She throws me the keys. I'm like, yes. So we go. We get her some smokes. I'm like, look, we got to drive around, you know. Anyway, we come back to the party. There's a guy. We lived upstairs in Walnut Knolls, or Jackson Heights. There's a guy on the bottom of our stairs. I looked at him, we stepped over him, I go up, and Big Balls Billy is kind of in a huff. I go, what happened? He goes, I told the guy, don't be laying in my bed. I go, okay, was he laying in your bed? He goes, he was laying in my bed. I go, what'd you do? He goes, I grabbed him by the ass, and I grabbed him by the shirt, and I threw him down the stairs.
That's solving problems.
That's when the party's too big.
Big Balls Billy is a genius. Problem, solution.
And nobody died, and there were no cameras, and there was no lawsuit. And if there was, everybody had, you know, I don't know what happened. Region law. I don't know what. What the hell are you talking about?
Who did?
Yeah, the guy fell down the stairs. Not our fault. What are you doing? All
right. Have they fixed baseball? Have we?
Yes.
Do you like the?
Yes.
Do you like the pitch clock? I like the pitch clock, but I'm sick that they had to do it. That you had to legislate caring.
That's good.
That, like, okay, I would think, and this is why I would be a terrible player. I'd think, well, I've got to get up here, do my business, and get the hell back or get on base because I got 40,000 people who are waiting to see me do something. Let's go. And baseball players with Garcia Parra back in the day with the wrists and the. What the hell is the matter with people? Do something.
3 hours and 1 minute is what the games were.
Yeah.
They're 2:36 now.
Perfect.
Now, I know people say, well, where do you got to go? It's not where do you have to go. It's not necessarily that I want to get out of the ballpark. It's that I want some action.
Pace.
Yes. You go ahead.
Okay. College basketball, same thing. And you're a coach, you understand the need for timeouts. I'm a fan, I don't understand the need for timeouts. I don't like timeouts, and I hate replay reviews. Yeah. Make the case for timeouts continuing to exist.
I can't. There should not be 5. No, there absolutely should not be. The hockey coach at Bowling Green, Scott Pollock, great dude. He'd come to all our games, I'd go to all his games. He's like, hey, don't you guys practice? I go, what are you talking about? He goes, we have 1 timeout in hockey. I think 3 things should happen in college basketball.
Yeah.
I think number 1, timeouts should be 3 total. I don't care when you use them, you get 3. I think number 2, I think we limit what we go to the monitor for. Just because a guy gets touched doesn't mean we got to go to the monitor. I think that the overuse at the end of the games of monitor is crazy. Actually, there's 4 things. The shot clock needs to get down to 24 seconds, in my opinion. It's too long. And with 5 things, sorry. I think the ball should be moved to half court on a timeout. That women's thing was awesome the other day. I loved it. You don't. Nobody likes it. You do?
I think,
changes
look,
the game.
In the NFL, you call timeout with 50 seconds left. You don't move the ball from your own 30 to the
It's not the NFL.
40.
In the NBA, you do. Let's keep it sports specific. In the NBA, you do.
Yeah, that's all contrivance nonsense.
The women's game, you do.
Yeah, I don't like that either. Do you know what? I went to a women's game at DePaul because our friend, the great John Langto, was the SID at DePaul. We used to go to women's games all the time. They don't have backcourt.
No, they don't have
backcourt. So no backcourt. I'm at Alumni Hall at DePaul for an entire half of basketball, yelling, "That's 10! That's 10!" Yelling, screaming till my voice was raw. And at halftime, a guy comes up and goes, "Hey, there's no backcourt in women's basketball." He has let me scream my ass off for an entire half. I must have screamed
bloody murder
times.
Just yelling. Just yelling.
Idiot. And how many people were there? 40 people were there.
So everybody gets to hear you.
Jeez,
and your voice isn't.
It carries.
Yeah.
Here's one other. This is a story of my dad. In '81, we go to the Seymour Regional to watch New Albany play Floyd Central. Dad got upset at a call, and he had a cigar in his pocket that was just partially smoked. There was a bad call. Dad took it out of his pocket, wrote 8 underneath the bucket, winged it, hit an official in the back. Hit the guy in the back, and the AD from New Albany was right in front of him. Stan psycho. Stan jumped on the floor, grabbed his cigar, and got back in his seat before the official knew what happened. That's the lineage I come from. That's the heredity.
But did the AD know that it was your dad?
Oh, no.
Oh,
Nobody knew. There were like 8,000 people in there.
I was going to say.
I was like, all I saw Dad's arm and this oblong thing going woof, 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 and hit the official in the back. I was like, Jesus, what was that? He goes, a cigar.
Bah!
Jesus. He didn't have a kid on the team, barely had a rooting interest in New Albany. He was just a fan of justice.
Oh, he needed justice.
And that was a bad call. I've got to hold this guy accountable.
If you're not going to do it, I'm going to do it, damn it. Isn't that amazing? I got to tell you, I don't remember ever seeing a cigar thrown, but it's not a bad idea. You just get on with that son of a bitch.
Bam. And, what are you going to get prosecuted for throwing a cigar?
Well, I think now you could. Now you go to jail for probably, assault with a deadly weapon.
Yeah.
Well, a cigar causes cancer. It's a deadly weapon. What the hell are you doing?
What if he picked it up and smoked it? He'd be in violation of all the school codes. He'd cause himself lung cancer. Mr. Sterling, you got to go away 3 to 5 years.
Oh, my God. Hey, we hit 100. We hit 100 people at one point. Anything else we got to discuss with the good people?
I had a big list of things, but I left the list in the car.
I bet we got to most of them.
So we did. And we get Levis tomorrow in a pro day, and he's going to look unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
Those the wing nuts with the mocks, he's going to shoot up.
Should pro day matter to you?
No.
Even a little bit?
He's going to do what he does well. It's all contrived to make him look great, whoever it is. So there's only going to be the throws that he can make and look wonderful throwing. You got to do more than that as a quarterback. And it doesn't reward any of this. You don't see any of this at pro days, and this is where you win. Montana, did he look like a quarterback? What do you think his pro day would have been if they had pro days?
No good.
Brady,
sure. Manning would have looked great.
Yeah, but
that's about it. Rodgers wasn't. He probably had a pro day, and he dropped to like 28th. Mahomes, I'm sure he had a pro day, and he was 13th.
Yeah, 10th. Yeah.
He was 10th?
Yeah.
Mitch Trubisky had one, a.k.a. Will Levis, a.k.a. Christian Ponder, a.k.a. Jake Locker, a.k.a. Eric Manuel or E.J. Manuel. A lot of a.k.a.s on dudes who all of a sudden, wow. Don't do it, Ballard. Two big brains are here to help you. Don't do it. No Will Levis.
We're here to help. It's what we do. And we'll do it again next week.
We're going to do it Monday. We got to do it after.
Do it Monday?
We got to do it Monday.
Let's go.
Thanks to everybody for being here.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
See you guys.
I'm hitting the X. I swear to God.
You are hitting the X.